Have you ever been woken up in the middle of the night by a sudden painful cramp in your leg? If so, you're not alone. Research shows that nearly 50% of adults over the age of 60 experience nighttime leg cramps. That statistic may sound surprising, but even more surprising is the fact that it's not always due to aging. In many cases, the root cause lies in something much simpler, something within your control, your nutrition. Your body might be quietly missing out on key nutrients that help keep your legs strong, your steps steady, and your muscles free from pain. And today, we're going to uncover those nutrients together. Let me tell you about Mrs. Johnson. She's a 71-year-old retired teacher who believed her leg cramps were just a part of getting older. For months, she endured sleepless nights, waking up to intense tightness in her calves. But during a regular checkup, her doctor noticed something her diet lacked, some critical vitamins and minerals. After a few small adjustments, including adding more of certain foods, her cramps began to fade, and she started sleeping peacefully again. Stories like hers are not rare, and that's why this message could make a real difference in your life or the life of someone you love. In today's episode, we'll explore 7 essential vitamins and minerals that play powerful roles in supporting the health and strength of your legs. Some may be familiar, others might surprise you, but each one is backed by science and has helped countless older adults regain confidence in every step they take. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced leg cramps at night? If so, comment with the number 1. If not, comment 0. We read every comment, and your story matters, because what you're going through could help someone else feel less alone. Now, let's take the first step together as we begin with a mineral that many call the relaxation nutrient magnesium. Let's begin with a mineral that often goes unnoticed but plays a central role in how your muscles move, rest, and recover. Magnesium is sometimes called the relaxation mineral, and for good reason. It helps regulate the electrical impulses that allow your muscles to contract and then release. When your body doesn't have enough magnesium, those signals can misfire, leading to tightness, spasms, and those sudden nighttime cramps that seem to come out of nowhere. While many people assume that muscle cramps are caused by dehydration or aging, magnesium deficiency is actually a common and often overlooked contributor, especially in older adults. Robert, a 68-year-old grandfather who loves tending his backyard garden, started dreading the evenings. As the sun went down, his calves would begin to tighten, and some nights the cramps were so intense they brought tears to his eyes. He tried drinking more water and even stretching before bed, but nothing seemed to work. It wasn't until his doctor checked his magnesium levels through a routine blood test that the picture became clearer. His levels were well below normal. With a few simple dietary changes, adding pumpkin seeds to his breakfast, switching to whole grain bread, and snacking on a handful of cashews in the afternoon, he began to notice a difference. Within weeks, the frequency of his cramps dropped, and he could enjoy his evenings again, pain-free. It's a powerful reminder that something as small as a missing mineral can have a big impact on your daily comfort. However, it's also important to mention that not all studies agree on magnesium as a guaranteed fix for leg cramps. In fact, some research, including a clinical trial published in JAMA Internal Medicine, found that magnesium supplements didn't always reduce cramps significantly in older adults. That said, magnesium remains essential for muscle and nerve function overall, and many seniors still fall short of the recommended intake. That's why focusing on food-based sources is such a smart first step. Simple choices like roasted almonds, brown rice, or leafy greens can quietly build your magnesium stores and support your body's natural rhythm of movement. And when magnesium gets a little help from its partner vitamin B6, the results can be even better, but we'll get to that duo later. Now let's turn to a mineral that often works quietly behind the scenes but plays a critical role in how your muscles function: potassium. This essential electrolyte helps carry tiny electrical signals that tell your muscles when to contract and when to relax. Without enough potassium, those signals can become disorganized, causing muscles to tighten unexpectedly or feel sluggish and weak. And while potassium is one of the most abundant minerals in nature, studies show that most Americans still don't get enough. In fact, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fewer than 2% of adults in the United States meet the recommended daily intake. That's a striking number when you consider how easily potassium-rich foods can be added to our diets. Helen, a 74-year-old former librarian, noticed something odd during her morning walks. She used to enjoy walking through the park, taking in the quiet and watching the birds, but recently she found herself stopping halfway. A deep cramp in her calf would grip her leg, forcing her to sit down. She assumed it was arthritis or maybe just age catching up. But after reviewing her eating habits with a nutritionist, it became clear that her potassium levels were far too low. She rarely ate fruits or beans and often skipped meals altogether. By making just a few adjustments, adding a banana to her breakfast and including baked sweet potatoes a couple of times a week, her leg pain began to ease. Within a month, she was completing her walks again, feeling lighter, freer, and more in control. Foods like avocado on whole grain toast, lentil soup, or a bowl of spinach can offer your muscles the potassium they need to work smoothly. And if you're someone who loves fruit, a single banana a day can quietly support muscle function. But there's another side to the story. Potassium doesn't work in isolation. When there's too much sodium in your diet, often from processed or packaged foods, it can push potassium out of balance. Reducing salty snacks while increasing potassium-rich foods is like resetting the harmony inside your muscles, giving your legs the support they've been quietly asking for. When most people think about calcium, they immediately associate it with strong bones. And while that's absolutely true, calcium does much more than just build bone density. It also plays a critical role in how your muscles contract and relax. Without enough calcium, your muscles may not receive the proper signals to move effectively. This can lead to sensations of heaviness, instability, and even sudden cramps, especially in the legs. Imagine trying to drive a car with faulty brakes. You press the pedal, but you're never quite sure how the car will respond. That's what a calcium-deficient body feels like: unpredictable, unsure, and often frustrating. But the good news is, this is one of the most manageable deficiencies to address through small, consistent changes in your routine. According to the National Institutes of Health, older adults who don't reach their daily calcium needs face a significantly higher risk of falls and fractures. And the concern isn't limited to bone health. Inadequate calcium also affects how our muscles function, especially in the lower body, where balance and strength are essential for everyday activities like walking, climbing stairs, or standing from a seated position. Your muscles depend on calcium to respond to signals from your nerves. When calcium is low, the go and stop messages become blurred, leading to that heavy, unsteady feeling that many older adults chalk up to aging, but which may be entirely preventable. So, how do you keep your calcium levels where they need to be? Fortunately, it doesn't require any complicated routines. A glass of fortified milk at breakfast, a slice of cheese with lunch, or a serving of cooked kale at dinner can quietly rebuild your calcium stores. Almonds are another smart option. Not only are they heart-healthy, but they also contain calcium and magnesium, making them a powerful snack for bone and muscle support. These simple habits, when practiced consistently, create a foundation that helps your legs stay strong and your steps feel more secure. But calcium doesn't act alone. It needs help getting absorbed, and that's where the next nutrient, vitamin D, comes in. To help your body actually use the calcium you take in, you need another essential nutrient, vitamin D. Think of it as the key that unlocks the door, allowing calcium to leave your digestive system and enter your bloodstream, where it can begin strengthening your bones and supporting your muscles. Without enough vitamin D, even the best calcium-rich diet can fall short, and this isn't just theory. Scientific evidence supports it. A study published by the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with low vitamin D levels were nearly twice as likely to experience muscle weakness and falls compared to those with adequate levels. That's not just a number, it's a wake-up call for anyone over 60 who hasn't been paying attention to their vitamin D intake. Let's revisit Margaret, a 72-year-old grandmother who adored baking cookies for her grandchildren. She stayed active indoors, but rarely spent time outside, especially during the colder months. Over time, she noticed her legs feeling weaker and her balance less steady. One winter morning, she slipped on her front steps and fractured her hip. At the hospital, doctors discovered her vitamin D levels were severely low. That moment changed everything. With daily supplementation and a new habit of taking short morning walks under the sun, Margaret began regaining her strength and confidence. She later said that sunshine didn't just warm her skin, it felt like medicine for her bones. Vitamin D is unique because your body can produce it naturally through sunlight. Just 10 to 15 minutes of gentle morning sun exposure on your arms and face, a few times a week, can support healthy levels. For those living in cloudy regions or staying mostly indoors, food sources like fortified milk, eggs, or fatty fish such as salmon can help fill in the gaps. In some cases, supplements may be recommended, but always under the guidance of a healthcare provider. The encouraging part is that small, consistent steps can lead to meaningful improvements in balance, strength, and stability. But even with enough vitamin D and calcium, your body still needs help making sure that calcium ends up in the right place, and that's where the next nutrient, vitamin K2, becomes crucial. Even with enough calcium and vitamin D in your system, your body still needs one more piece to complete the puzzle, vitamin K2. While it may not be as well known, K2 plays a critical role in directing calcium to the right places. Without it, calcium can build up in the wrong tissues, such as your arteries, leading to stiffness and long-term cardiovascular problems. But when K2 is present, it acts like a traffic director, guiding calcium into your bones where it belongs. This not only supports bone strength but also helps keep your blood vessels flexible and healthy. In other words, vitamin K2 ensures that all the calcium you're working so hard to consume is actually doing its job in the right places. Scientific studies support this. A large European study found that individuals with higher intakes of vitamin K2 had up to a 50% lower risk of bone fractures compared to those with low intake. That's a significant difference, and one that's especially meaningful as we age. Interestingly, cultures with diets naturally rich in K2, like traditional Japanese diets that include natto, a fermented soybean dish, tend to have stronger bones and lower rates of osteoporosis, even into old age. But if natto isn't your taste, there are plenty of other ways to get vitamin K2. It's found in certain cheeses, especially hard or aged cheeses, as well as in fermented foods and meats like chicken or liver. For many older adults in the U.S., getting enough K2 through food alone can be challenging, but adding even small amounts consistently makes a meaningful difference over time. A slice of cheese with lunch, a spoonful of fermented vegetables with dinner, these small habits support not just your bones, but your entire circulatory system. And as we move forward, there's another nutrient that supports a completely different system, your nervous system, and that's vitamin B12. Your legs rely not only on strong bones and muscles but also on healthy nerves, and vitamin B12 is key to keeping those nerves working properly. It protects the coating around your nerves so signals from your brain reach your muscles clearly. When B12 is low, those signals can misfire, leading to numbness, tingling, weakness, or a shaky feeling while walking. Many older adults think it's just aging, but often it's a quiet B12 deficiency. The National Institutes of Health reports that nearly 1 in 5 adults over 60 may have low B12 levels, sometimes without symptoms at first. That was the case for Thomas, a 75-year-old retired carpenter. He started feeling pins and needles in his feet and thought it was just poor circulation. But after a test, his doctor found his B12 levels were low. With better food choices and regular B12 shots, he regained strength and balance over time. You can get B12 from lean meats, dairy, eggs, and fortified cereals. But as we age, our bodies don't absorb it as well, especially if you're taking certain medications. That's why regular checkups matter. Up next, we'll talk about a vitamin that works hand in hand with magnesium to keep your muscles calm and strong, vitamin B6. Let's talk about a vitamin that works quietly but powerfully, vitamin B6. It helps your muscles use protein for energy and supports the nerve signals that tell your muscles when to move. Without enough B6, those signals can get sluggish, leaving your legs feeling tired or weak, even if you're eating well. B6 may not be as well known, but it plays a key role in keeping your muscles and nerves in sync. What's even more interesting is how B6 works together with magnesium. While magnesium helps muscles relax, B6 helps them stay strong and energized. When combined, they can reduce leg cramps more effectively than magnesium alone. A clinical study even showed that people taking both had fewer nighttime cramps and slept more peacefully. Take Linda, a 70-year-old choir singer. She struggled with nighttime cramps that left her drained. Magnesium helped a little, but when her doctor added B6 through foods like salmon and potatoes, she felt a real difference. Her sleep improved, and she returned to singing with confidence. You can find B6 in common foods like chicken, bananas, and sweet potatoes. Simple meals can go a long way. And now that we've explored all 7 key nutrients, let's bring everything together and look at the bigger picture. Now that we've explored all 7 nutrients, magnesium, potassium, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, vitamin B12, and vitamin B6, you can start to see how each one plays a role in keeping your legs strong, steady, and pain-free. It's not about chasing quick fixes. It's about building steady habits that support your body from the inside out. These nutrients don't work in isolation. They support each other just like parts of a team, helping you move, balance, and feel more secure with every step. Remember, it's not just your legs we're talking about. It's your freedom, your ability to walk in the park, to stand confidently in the kitchen, to dance a little when your favorite song plays, or to hold hands with someone you love. Strong legs carry more than just your body. They carry your moments, your memories, your life. If today's message gave you even one helpful idea, we'd love to hear from you. What surprised you most? What small change will you try this week? Leave a comment and help someone else feel encouraged too. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel so you won't miss more health tips made just for you. Because getting older doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter, moving with care, and walking forward stronger than ever.